Today, I'll be discussing Game of Thrones, online piracy, the media's coverage of online piracy, and ultimately the anticipated response by the government. Each week, I, like millions of Americans and Australians, look forward to watching the increasingly popular HBO fantasy drama, Game of Thrones. Yet upon arriving here, I discovered that the normally simple task of vegging out and getting my fix of Game of Thrones wasn't so easy. HBO Go, which I'm a subscriber to back in the United States, isn't available here. So my options were to pay for it again an hour after it premieres, which normally isn't the case for many shows, or to illegally stream it. As an abroad student who's sort of trying to work on a budget, I chose the latter. But as well as I could rant about the trials and tribulations that I must undergo to watch TV and justify my crimes, it would be funnier if comedian Louis C.K. did it.
Like when I was in Australia, everybody told me that they watched my show, and I figured they must be getting old versions of it because it doesn't air there. But they were watching the show like the week before because the whole country pirates there. Here, weirdos kind of pirate. There's not that many people that pirate here.
Yeah.
But in Australia, moms and dads pirate video because we're not letting them buy it because we're keeping it from them.
Yeah.
We have shows that have been on the air here for like 3 years, and we won't even give them if they're given the option. Like everybody in the world is like, take my fucking credit card and just let me have the thing, and I'll pay. But if you're gonna be a pain in the ass, fuck you. I can steal all of it. So the whole country of Australia rips TV. And I learned this, so when I put my Beacon special, one of the big important things to me was that it was globally available right away. And they're happy to buy it, right? So I told FX they should sell my show on my website. And they said that we can't do that because we can't let other countries see it before.
Oh, boy.
And what they're doing, all those companies, and this piece of shit fucking company that we're talking on right now, is they're keeping money out. It's a cage. It's keeping money out. It's not keeping it in.
Right.
They think they're keeping money in, but they're keeping it out.
Even though he's a comedian, his social commentary is spot on. According to recent statistics about illegal piracy in relation to Game of Thrones, at least 11.6% of Game of Thrones downloads originated in Australia. That's a lot, considering that Australians only constitute less than 1% of the world's population. The high number of illegal downloads for one show shouldn't come as a surprise, since a study by the IP Awareness Foundation found around 25% of 18 to 64-year-olds in Australia download or stream content illegally online, and that number is slightly lower for 12 to 17-year-olds, estimated to be around 24%. Yet, as far as media coverage of cybercrime, online piracy is portrayed as far more innocuous to the public's well-being. And for that matter, it really is. Cyberpedophilia, on the other hand, is considered far more heinous. This is seen by the new ways of policing that have arisen to fight cyberpedophilia, as well as media efforts to raise awareness, such as shows like To Catch a Predator. Until the cybercrime of online piracy receives the same attention as cyberpedophilia or cyberterrorism, the public will not view it as a problem and require the politicians to make change. At the moment, the coverage on the issue of online piracy has actually focused more on the government and whether or not they will intervene. The reason it does not focus on the crime is because the victims are few and not everyday people. The victims, for the most part, are the extremely wealthy, the Kanye Wests and Katy Perrys. They're not everyday people like you and me. Nevertheless, there are reports that the government will respond in one or two ways. Attorney General George Brandis has stated that there is no firm plan and hopes that the ISP providers will take responsibility into their own hands before requiring government intervention. The options, if legislated upon, are 1. The internet service providers are required to issue warnings to people who repeatedly download illegally. The other is forcing ISPs to block file sharing websites such as Pirate Bay or WatchMovies.it. It will probably come as no surprise that companies like News Corp, which also owns half of the TV company Foxtel, who are the people that suffer from illegal streaming of TV shows, have supported the Attorney General's course of action. News Corp spokesman Stephen Browning told Fairfax Media that copyright infringement, quote, hurts the creative community It undermines investment, employment, business models, and innovation. And we support the Attorney General's approach. And while there isn't a silver bullet, evidence from overseas suggests that such initiatives do work. So we have their opinion, we have the government's opinion, and so now all we can do really is wait for next week's episode of Game of Thrones. And I guess, of course, for the government or ISPs to make the next step. But for now, the ball is in their court.